You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Hey, this is episode 273 of the IT in the D Show. Guest this week, segment 2, we're joined by John Riminelli from Detroit Aircraft. We're going to be talking all things air mobility. That's right, kids. Flying taxis are on their way. And
yes, please.
We're going to be talking about it in segment 2. Segment 3, Cass and Thomas is in the house with Rob Goss from Tempered Networks. We're going to be talking about software-defined perimeter once again, and there's going to be a little bit of a giveaway, so you definitely want to stay tuned for that. And
hey, before we get rolling, incidents happen. Thankfully, OpsGenie empowers dev and ops teams to plan for service disruptions and stay in control during the incidents. It also gives teams the power to respond quickly and efficiently to unplanned issues. And it helps notify all the right people through a smart combination of scheduling and escalation paths. With OpsGenie, your next incident doesn't stand a chance. Visit OpsGenie.com to sign up for a free company account and add up to 5 team members. That's OpsGenie.com. Never miss a critical alert again with OpsGenie.
Davey made fire when ready.
You're listening to the Podcast Detroit Network. Visit www.podcastdetroit.com for more information.
Following program is intended for mature audiences.
I'm Wyatt, that's Gary, you're Bob, and you're Dave. This is the IT and the D Show.
This is Max Headroom, and what you're about to witness is one of the most sinister-sounding intros to a trailer to one of the greatest epics ever.
This is Billy D. Williams. Bob and Dave and I are enjoying a Colt 45 right now, and remember, IT in the D, it works every time.
Just where do you guys think you are?
The Library of Congress?
Detroit? Beyond the sun?
Any of those right?
Take him to Detroit.
No! No, not Detroit! No! No, please! Anything but that! No!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Then don't come! Shut up!
Hi, this is Jeremy London from Mallrats, and I'm just wondering, how did I go from Hot Floridian Sex with Brandy spinning to the IT and D Show?
Hi, this is Christy Swanson, and you're listening to the IT in the D Show. And Bob and Dave touch my hoo-hoos.
What happens when you tap the angry beaver in the bunghole?
Exactly. Come on.
Tries. What the hell with this? I'm calling a break. We'll come back to this.
This is Guilfoyle from Silicon Valley, and the only two guys I hate more than Dinesh are Bob and Dave. Suck it, guys.
What's up, everybody? This is Billy Zapka. Sweep the leg. Listening to IT and the D Show. No mercy.
I may have to wipe the beak off.
Hi, this is David Kay, the voice of Professor Xavier from X-Men Evolution. Storm! Come here, Storm. Sit on my lap, Storm. You're listening to IT and the D.
Are we at a break yet?
Hey, everybody, this is Ted DiBiase, the $1 Million Man. You're listening to IT and the D. And if you want to get your money's worth, stay right here. And remember, everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Hi, I'm Ernie Hudson, and you're listening to IT and the D. All you nerds out there.
Nerds.
What is a nerd?
Hi, this is Ogre. You listen to a bunch of nerds on the IT and the D? Nerd.
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Hey, Detroit, this is Anthony Michael Hall. You're listening to my buddies Bob and Dave on IT in the D.
Hey, what up? This is Jay Muse, and you're listening to the IT and D Show. Snooch to the nooch. Listen, Muse, Snoogans.
This is Scott Steiner, Big Pump. IT and the D Show is your hookup. Holler if you hear me.
I'm totally into Dave, but not so much Bob.
This is Robert Hayes, Ted Stryker to my mother. When I'm not hanging out at the Magumbo bar, I'm listening to the IT and the D Show. It's worse than Detroit.
Is there such thing as a meat hangover?
I love my Monday meat steak.
Hey, folks, this is WWE Hall of Famer Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and you're listening to the IT and the D Show. Tough guy. Ho!
Hi, this is Kelly LeBrock from Weird Science.
So,
Bob and Dave, what would you little maniacs like to do first?
The question isn't what are we going to do, the question is what aren't we going to do.
Ludicrous speed! Sir, had you better buckle up? Now buckle this! Ludicrous speed! Go!
What is up? Thanks for hanging out with us once again. This is the IT in the D Show, broadcasting live here in Studio One in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. This is Bob the Sales Guy. That is Dave the Geek. Nerdy the FNG is in the house. And Randy, I do the Twitters, is also here. Follow us online, itinthed.com. Do us a favor, give us a like on the socials and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold. So in a world with fake news, flat earthers and other donut earthers, I don't know if you've seen that, and conspiracy theorists, what's a thinking person like you supposed to do?
Like me?
Like you.
Or like you.
Both of us.
Share all this crap.
Right. Like, I love this stuff. You got to think like a skeptic, of course. On the most recent episode of Star Talk All-Stars, neuroscientist and host Heather Berlin, PhD, and her comic co-host Ari Schaefer, investigate the importance of skepticism and the power of evidence-based thinking. What is that? Craziness.
It's highly overrated these days.
To help separate fact from fiction, Heather and Ari are joined by in-studio guests Cara Santa Maria and Dr. Stephen Novella, two of the hosts of the popular weekly science podcast, The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe. If you're worried about the growing tide of anti-intellectualism and the devaluation of experts and facts, which we're seeing all around us, tune in for a show filled with science and skepticism. Remember, trust no one, question authority, and listen to Star Talk All-Stars wherever fine podcasts are sold. That's Star Talk All-Stars, and listen now, and be sure to subscribe.
It sounds like I'm going to have to check that out.
I'm digging it.
That's totally right up my alley. Absolutely.
Right.
So I guess let's talk events. We had our podcast meet up last week. That was pretty solid. Had a lot of good people show up. Good time always. We have literally just within the last 10 minutes, finalized the date for our December event. It's going to be Thursday, December 6th.
Ooh, mark your calendars.
Yep. It's going to be down at the Detroit Shipping Company. We're going to be up on the second floor, taking things over there. Looking forward to it. And Bob, what's the charity we're working with?
Hunger in the D. So it's
Very cool.
It's Capuchin and Gleaners. It's the two charities that I've donated to since I've donated. Never did me wrong, and always like what they're doing. But Hunger in the D is like a coalition kind of supporting those two groups and a bunch of other ones.
Very cool.
Great work. Absolutely. Don't forget, 11:15 this Thursday, IT in the D event, the event that started this whole madness. We're going to be at Selena's on 11 Mile and 75. It's a little dumpy dive bar right by our studio that we love hanging out at.
Way to oversell it, Bob.
Oh, totally. Really good wings, by the way. But we're going to be there from 5 to 8. Just IT people, no sales, except for me. And basically good conversation, no insurance people, and
always a good time.
No idiots. So we'll see you then.
So, and in case you missed the memo, I feel like this one is important to get out there again, just real quick.
You have no boots.
No.
You have no gloves.
No.
You have no hat.
No.
You have no scarf.
No.
You have no scraper.
No.
How long have you lived in Michigan?
All my life.
In case you missed the memo, it's supposed to snow again.
Yay.
And I still don't have any boots. I still don't have.
And I'm still wearing flip-flops. Let's just get this straight.
I was in an outdoor soccer game. I don't know. I can't believe they do this to our kids this late.
Were you wearing shorts?
No, but I had a sport coat and jeans and no gloves. And every parent is like north faced and blanketed to hell. And here I am sitting there going
DJ'd at a rave
in your
this
skinny
weekend.
jeans.
Yeah, exactly.
It was 22 degrees at the rave I DJ'd at this weekend.
Oh my God. Where were you?
Middle of nowhere, Illinois.
Wow.
I froze my balls off.
I bet.
Yeah.
It's cold over there.
Yeah.
It's cold.
But hey, if you haven't, obviously you've been following what's going on. Rest in peace, Mr. Stan Lee. You've let it.
Wait, what?
Yeah, exactly. Stanley died?
I had no idea.
You did not know that?
I don't have Facebook. I had no idea.
Because you couldn't log into it earlier today.
I know.
Oh. No, but man, if we all live like 1% of the life he led, we'd all be better people.
Dude was 95 years old. I mean, it's not. But it's sad, but it's not like it's a huge shock.
The legacy that he left on this earth will last another 1,000 years. Think about that for a minute. Like
cockroaches will be reading his comics.
Right.
94 years old and still doing cameos in his movies.
Yeah.
Like, what a guy.
I do. I think it was. God, I forget who it was that posted this. But I thought it was hilarious. Said, now I'm never going to get to see the cameo I always wanted, which was Stan Lee as like hotel housekeeping. Comes into Thor's room when he's out, cleans and straightens, picks up Thor's hammer to clean underneath it, puts it down, and then just quietly leaves the room.
Well, how did that never happen? So the one story that completely blew my mind, I read it today. It's from Wall Street Journal, and basically the title was, "Why did Facebook fire a top executive?" And basically they said it had something to do with Trump. And then they said basically he donated like $10,000 to the Trump campaign. But like it caused a big ruckus in Silicon Valley.
Could you describe the ruckus?
Yeah, but that wasn't the part that blew my mind. This is the guy. His name is Palmer Luckey.
Who basically is, for years, like we tried to get him as a guest at PinguaCon and he wouldn't even answer our emails. And this is years ago.
Well, he's 26.
Yes.
He founded Oculus. Using a GoFundMe or whatever the heck,
Right.
sold it to Facebook for like $2 billion. His cut was like $600 million and basically became an executive at Facebook. And he's 26 and they just, we're doing it wrong. Seriously.
What have you done today?
Right.
In essence, he was in high school when he invented the Oculus. And it's like,
We're not as smart as we think.
no, like
we're not.
completely mind blown. Like usually like you expect these things to happen like, and they
coming out of college,
Right.
Something like that.
MIT, Harvard, but yeah, they're 26. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I would throw you out of our meetings. Like this,
600 million.
2 billion.
26.
20, yeah.
And
created-
got no.
What do you do?
He
What do
got
you do
none of
now?
the references that we make on a daily basis.
no, he would like 80s jokes. Who the hell's Anthony Michael Hall? Get out! You suck.
But no, so Nuri, speaking of Facebook, and Nuri, you touched on this. Apparently, Facebook fell down and went boom.
I never had a problem today. Maybe because I just sit in Messenger all day, but I didn't have any issues at all.
I didn't have problems either.
Apparently, wide swaths of the internet could not. If you were already logged in, you were fine for the most part. You would have issues posting or replying to posts.
Okay.
But if you were not logged in, you were getting hit with a screen that said, "Hey, something's wrong. We're working on it. Sorry."
I heard it was the Russians.
Well, I mean, it's already past the election.
The
so
weird
why
thing
would
to
they
me
bother?
was I saw friends on Facebook posting on Facebook that Facebook was down.
That's like meta.
And speaking of, I forgot to email.
They said it was a routine test that caused the issue. So if your routine tests caused the entire app to go down, maybe it's not such a routine test.
Skeptical, Davis. Skeptical.
Very skeptical.
But yeah, no, speaking of social media, I forgot to shoot this across, but I know I shared it earlier and it made me laugh so hard. Whoever is running the social media for the Wyandotte Police Department, please check yourself. Please check your shit. Please fix your shit. Because the Wyandotte Police Department is listed on Google Places and Google Maps as the I believe it was the Wyandotte Police and Titty Bar.
No, it was the Titty Bar Police Station.
Titty Bar Police Station. Yes.
Actually, they fixed it now.
Oh, have they fixed it? Okay.
It was on Daily Detroit earlier today, but now if you Google Wyandotte Police Department, it says permanently closed.
Oh,
how is that?
They just took it down rather than fix it. Yeah,
Can you leave Yelp reviews for police stations?
We've done that. We did police. Remember, we did police stations, courthouses, and jails.
Yeah,
we did.
Oh my God, we did do the jails.
It's just been like what 2 years since we recorded
Done
one.
a
We should get
meatball.
on
I
that,
know.
yeah.
The best headline of the week, though, the first story we shared this week. I'll read it verbatim. Dead brothel owner wins Nevada seat assembly.
Dude,
Nevada State Assembly seat.
Dennis Hoff,
Really?
the guy from Cat House, has been dead for weeks.
And he won.
His name was left on the ballot, and he won.
Despite the fact that there were signs, massive signs in all the polling precincts that said Dennis Hoff is dead.
James Brown is dead. Yeah.
But he still beat the shit out of his opponent.
Wow.
His name was Romanov by like 36%.
So now what? Who takes over?
So apparently, and this is where a lot of the conspiracy theories come in, that they left his name on there because they knew his name was popular and he would win, because now the Republican governor of the state of Nevada gets to appoint his replacement.
Wow.
I love how like CNN writes this stuff like Hoff, comma, a self-proclaimed pimp, comma, was found dead.
Well, I mean, but he was. I mean, it's not like
it's not irrelevant.
I'm a pimp.
I think the brothel owner kind of spoke enough to it. Let
well,
alone
in case you didn't know what a brothel was,
right?
Well, this wasn't the weirdest, because there was a Virginia congressional candidate who is apparently into Bigfoot erotica.
Dude,
who's been elected as well.
Dude.
So a dead brothel owner and a Bigfoot erotica enthusiast.
What the hell is Bigfoot and
dude? Bigfoot porn.
I know that.
Dude
You have
sits
a
around and
size
writes Bigfoot
12
porn.
to enter? I mean, what do you...
No, like big, like Sasquatch.
Like 6, 7?
Yeah.
How tall are
not
you?
in monster trucks, right? You got just
not monster truck porn.
Okay,
How do you qualify?
Like Chewbacca.
So there's apparently books about this, and the book's titles are Shiver for Yeti and Where the Wild Things Ravish.
Come on.
Dude, this is, and people, sometimes the terrorists might be right. we might suck as a society. I'm just saying.
We're going to hell.
I'm just
the opinions of Dave Phillips expresses do not necessarily represent the rest of his hosts.
I'm just hey, at least at least we're not doing a read for the NSA this week.
Yeah, no kidding, right? But if you've been following this or haven't, they just turned on the world's most powerful computer that took 10 years to build. It's designed to mimic the human brain,
and it's a 1 million
core
computer.
Yeah.
Wait, so it was 2006 it was started, which means it's already been obsolete,
right?
By Intel's new i9
10
chip.
times, yeah.
Right? Sorry.
Got to upgrade again. They went through already 5 upgrades. Moore's law.
But the interesting thing, there are 18 processor cores, 55,000 of these chips, and the special sauce comes from the fact that it doesn't all go through one bus.
Right.
So like in a regular computer, you may have multiple cores, but it's all sending messages to one place.
Yep.
Apparently, they now can do 10,000 different locations.
Yeah, they call it burst pathing.
Basically, they say that if normal computers are like sending mail through the post office, complete with sending and receiving addresses and a stamp, this supercomputer is like sending mail, like if everyone had their own dedicated postman and knows the routes, so there's no need to address the mail.
They called it neuromorphic computing, and it is. I mean, because if you think about it, it's the computer equivalent of training reflex.
Yeah.
Like, when we've all done it. Like if you drive somewhere a million times, you drive there and you're like, wait, how the hell did I even get here? Like what? And I don't mean cause you're blacked out. Like you just drive on muscle memory.
This is not my beautiful wife.
Right. You're driving on muscle memory and you just,
take Lunesta again. Come on.
And so, I mean, this is the first computer that does that actually basically acts on reflex.
That's crazy.
200 trillion operations per second. But here's the thing now. When I read this and I'm like, no.
Then they're going to put it in one of the Boston
Dynamics robots. Yeah.
Or that, or they're just going to surf porn on it.
But can it play Crisis?
Probably.
Right.
But no, when we talk that those things can parkour, like, which is like the street, like the dog ones, man, all I see is a sentry gun and that thing's back. Like it's built for that.
That was the Black Mirror episode.
Black Mirror, that was
yeah.
Yeah.
And now they got this computer now, so it's going to be like Ex Machina, the movie?
We're just
like,
I can't let you do that, Dave.
We're ending ourselves as a species. We are. Like we are. Laughing at it the whole day. Right. We're sitting here giggling about it.
Click like. Oh my god, that dog is so creepy. Like.
Yeah.
And it killed you.
Yeah. I for one welcome our new robot overlords.
Yeah. Speaking of creepy, and I think this is, I don't know, we were talking about this before the show started, but like in China they just debuted an AI news anchor.
They did.
And we were like, what the hell is it? And they're like, well, it's getting fed lines. I go, well, isn't that like Talking Tom app where you like yell at it and burp and then the Talking Tom yells at it and burps? Right. But what's AI about it? Like, is it scouring the internets and like reading back what it thinks is relevant?
I think it's more than that. I think it's the facial mapping. So basically it's a picture of an anchor, but his mouth moves and it's very creepy to watch. And it's funny, the news company called Xinhua in China says that it learns from broadcasting videos and can read text as naturally as a professional news anchor. I think we may have a clip for this.
Hello, everyone. I'm an English artificial intelligence anchor. This is my very first day in Xinhua News Agency. My voice and appearance are modeled on Zhang Zhao, a real anchor with Xinhua. The development of the media industry calls for continuous innovation and deep integration with the international advanced technologies. I will work tirelessly to keep you informed as texts will be typed into my system, uninterrupted. I look forward to bringing you the brand new news experiences.
Natural's high fructose corn syrup, right?
Right. All your base are belong to us. I mean,
yeah.
Why don't just draw cartoons? Again, this is stupid.
Well, I mean, think, your news people basically only work a certain amount of hours. They age out. They get tired.
Yeah, draw cartoons. Why you gotta have a stupid?
Do you really want the news brought to you by Pikachu?
Totally.
What have we evolved to as a society?
I might actually watch it then.
I mean, they could at least make it like a fantasy news anchor, like something.
Pick your news anchor, right? Yeah. Customize your own character.
Yeah, have your own news avatar.
Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, so like one of the one of the new things on iPhones is the customized shortcuts. And one of the things, a guy came out and released a new shortcut, which basically you say, Siri, I'm getting pulled over. It activates your front-facing camera, starts recording immediately. It has you can predefine a contact that it immediately texts and lets them know that you're getting pulled over along with your GPS coordinates. And then when you are done, when it's done recording, it will either email, text, or save to Dropbox that video file.
I actually downloaded the shortcut and I set up Jessica as my contact.
Okay.
So let's try this. Hey Siri, I'm getting pulled over.
Shortcut fail.
Did you set up the voice command?
Yeah,
you have to add the voice command.
I set it up to the shortcuts. I tried to find it through the iTunes store. You can't find it. There's basically a link that you have to go to, and it takes either way.
Yeah, it doesn't show up in the store. It's just somebody has shared this.
Well, the interesting thing that I read about it, the one thing that it makes your screen dark, so it darkens your screen, so it doesn't look like you're videotaping
that you're recording. Yeah,
and then it also turns on the do not disturb mode, so you can't get calls, you can't get text, so it's completely in tune with what you are doing. So I mean, this was well thought through.
No, there's one thing missing. Does it lock your phone so that the cop can't force you to thumbprint into the phone?
I wonder if you can edit the shortcuts. And hey, if the shortcut guy, if you're listening,
well, that was a story.
Well, that was
the woman. The woman that remotely wiped her phone.
Well, the cops say she did.
Right.
She says she has absolutely no idea how one would even do that.
Yeah, that's what the lawyers said. Like, if you have an iPhone, though, I don't know. You kind of...
Well, but here's what I noticed, though, is that if you read the follow-up story that came out today, it did say she got a new phone. Now, I don't know how the iPhone activate a new phone process works. I do know that, like, with the Samsungs and Google, like, when you do a Google setup, it can say, you can see, hey, you have these other devices active. Should we get rid of them?
Oh, or maybe even the Apple Store did it without thinking about it.
Right. So it could be that, hey, if you're activating a new phone, do you want to transfer and wipe from your old device? That may have been what may have been.
iPhone doesn't work that way.
No. Okay.
She was charged with one count of tampering with physical evidence, which is a felony. Though.
Yep.
And there are lawyers arguing against it. It's very interesting.
Yeah, so be curious to see how that plays out.
And then the article talked about Faraday bags, basically that the police should be putting them inside like basically a Faraday cage and using them.
But like, how many phones do cops confiscate per day?
Good question.
And how many Faraday bags or Faraday cages or whatever, like the block devices that they've got at concerts now and that kind of stuff? Like, how many of those are they going to keep on hand?
Throw it in the microwave
Why
quick.
don't they just line the evidence locker?
Ooh,
like the whole place where they keep all the evidence. Just turn the whole
evidence
Randy. Storage room into a Faraday cage.
Shut up, Randy. Stop giving them ideas.
Exactly. Have you heard of it's fun of Singles Day?
Yeah, it's a thing out of China, right?
I just learned about this today, and apparently it was like mocking. It was like an anti-Valentine's Day, and it's become like the Chinese Black Friday shopping.
Dude, I'm mad. Like, I'm mad my buddies and I back in the day never thought about this because we always did our annual Valentine's Day sucks trip. When I was living in D.C., we'd head up to Atlantic City, get a couple of sweets, get stupid for the weekend. This is genius.
This is with the Michigan. This is a Sweetest Day, the fake holiday to get people to buy shit. And,
I get it. I mean, so it's November 11th, so it's 1/1/1/1. It's all about being single. And it's, do something for yourself day. You're not with anybody else. Go ahead and, buy some shit for yourself.
It's known as Bear Sticks Holiday.
Yeah, because exactly.
Basically, there were $30.8 billion in sales.
And I believe I heard $1 billion in the first 18 seconds of the day.
Yeah, destroys Black Friday in the U.S.
Oh, not even close.
Well, that on average people spend $350 on themselves.
Okay.
Well, there was when I was in Tokyo, we were talking like about budgets and stuff and how planning, and basically they had enough planning for enough budget for a car note just for gaming and for like electronics and accessories. So basically, like $400 or $500 a month. Simply just for stuff, for like just electronics.
Dude, and like speaking of Black Friday, like, I mean, here, so it's November 12th. We're what? 2 weeks away?
Please don't tell me there's people in tents outside of Best Buy.
No, I don't.
Jesus Christ.
There may be. Like,
Jesus Christ.
Has your email been as flooded as mine has? with Black Friday, like
Costco.
pre-Black Friday deals.
My
shit
emails
that are
are
already doing it.
My email's a mess already.
It's ridiculous. Like
Costco
what?
and Home Depot are the ones that I've seen over and over again.
Oh, I've got a
Best Buy
bajillion of them
too.
already. Yeah.
Oh, jeez.
I swear to God, if I see people intense, I'm gonna. Because again, what are you buying? There ain't nothing this year to buy.
It's the TV that's the one model knockoff that
QLED.
Yeah, that only has one HDMI port in it.
A $19 toaster. Oh my goodness, I have to.
Bitch, get out of my way! I'm getting that toaster.
Right. So speaking of singles, and we're not talking about craft singles. I guess Detroit's been ranked like the worst city in the U.S. for being single,
Which is so weird. Like, given two of the stats they quoted in the article, of all the cities that they ranked, Detroit has the highest concentration and percentage of singles, and the third lowest price for drinks and beer.
So where do we fall down then?
Like you would think, I don't know, Nuri, is like everybody busy getting into poly relationships and not having room for single people?
Why would you ask me that, Dave?
Who conducted the poll?
Huh?
Who conducted the poll?
Wallet Hub?
Well, it was part of Forbes. It was part of an overall Forbes survey.
And
They,
said
they have like people planted in the city as like singles.
No, they had a methodology. There were 3 dimensions: economics, fun and recreation, and dating opportunities. And it basically was cost of doing things versus
Which is cheap as hell here.
Housing affordability, also
Cheap as hell here.
But then fun and recreation.
That's
Number of
probably where we fell down.
attractions, coffee and tea shops, parks, nightlife options, shopping centers. We fall down on all, and walkability, which is probably our worst.
Wait, if it's shopping centers, maybe the data was collected in 1997.
Right.
Well, there was a shopping
Mall.
centers
Right.
when those still existed.
Right.
So speaking of shopping centers, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back with John Riminelli from Detroit Aircraft. This is the IT and the D Show.
And we'll be right back.
IT in the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit, one beer at a time.
Hey, this is John Schneider from Nip Tuck Smallville, the haves and the have-nots. Oh, Dr. Quinn, Hot in Cleveland, Secret Life of the American Teenager, and just about everything you can possibly imagine. And oh yeah, the Dukes of Hazzard. You're listening to Bob and Dave. See IT in the D Show.
ITinthed.com.
Welcome back. Thanks for hanging out with us. Segment 2, episode 273 of the one and only IT in the D Show, broadcasting live here in Studio 1 in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob the Sales Guy, Dave the Geek, Nuri the FNG, Randy, I do the Twitters. Find us online, itinthed.com. You want to know why? Because we are IT in the D, and
You're still not.
we love you.
We love you
so
though,
much.
but you're still not, even after all this time.
Do us a favor, find us online, give us a like on the socials, and subscribe to us everywhere fine podcasts are sold.
Hey, but finally, there is a cloud platform built for you and your business. DigitalOcean offers the simplest, most developer-friendly cloud hosting solution. It's optimized to meet your needs and make managing infrastructure easy. Plus, DigitalOcean makes it easy to deploy, manage, and scale applications with an intuitive control panel and an API designed for developers. So you can spend more time building great things and less time managing your infrastructure. No wonder DigitalOcean is the preferred cloud platform of hundreds of thousands of innovative companies, including Docker, GitLab, and Slack. Join them along with 150,000 other businesses that are already creating amazing things on DigitalOcean to get the infrastructure services you need to grow, from predictable pricing through flexible configurations to industry-leading customer support. Get started with a free $100 credit towards your first project and experience everything the platform has to offer, like cloud firewalls, real-time monitoring and alerts, global data centers, object storage, and the best support anywhere. Just go to do.co/IT-in-the-D to claim your credit today. That's do.co/IT-in-the-D. Join DigitalOcean and unlock the power of simplicity.
You did that really well, actually. That was great.
Didn't flub a thing, yeah. Must not have drank before the show today.
Only 6 Red Bulls
You've
today.
seen me, jerk face over there brought the Oban.
Wait, someone brought Oban?
And that's the thing.
Oh yeah, you missed that.
That's right.
Yeah.
Gaston,
It's still there. It's still here.
But hey, 16 or 18 or 14?
It's Distillers.
Oh, that's a good one too. All right, go ahead.
But hey, we are joined by John Riminelli from Detroit Aircraft. Been having a ball while we're doing all our good stuff here. How you doing, John?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me, Bob.
Yeah, so someone kind of brought up saying, hey, you got to have this guy on your show. he's going to be like, doing air taxis. And I'm like, come on, it's ready.
Well, did you read where Dubai? The
police.
The police are in beta with hovercycles.
Right. Well, I got to tell you.
Right.
That's some nice marketing, but here's how it really goes.
I tell you what, they have come up with a hover bike, if you will, with these. I guess they're like blenders that sort of surround you. It's a quadcopter surrounded by a crotch rocket, and it's cool and everything, but you definitely don't want to get sideways in that thing.
Okay, which makes it different from motorcycle. How?
Well, popping wheelies and getting sideways on a flying, hover bike.
Also in
Dubai, blind on a rocket cycle.
Exactly.
Also in Dubai, is it possible that you'll just kind of go down an entire street of Lamborghinis that's a little too narrow,
right,
and leave blade marks on all of them?
Yeah,
that is Dubai we're talking about.
I mean, it's great PR, and that's. They actually have a technology that they're working on. It's I actually know their COO, and what it is a ducted fan technology where they basically duct the fan as opposed to right now they've got open rotors, which is super, super scary. I mean, a
little bit, yeah.
You're gonna lose something. You could lose an arm, a leg,
details.
A head, I mean, no big deal.
And then you just get it replaced with a robot leg, and you're good.
Yeah, you'll be fine. But anyways, they got some press from it, and I look forward to seeing what they come up with.
What they actually come out. Yeah.
So I guess talk to me about what you're doing, because I got all this goofy stuff in my head about like. Are you?
Here's George Jetson.
Yeah, that. Backing it out of the driveway. It's going to be like Back to the Future.
No, nobody wants that.
What? So talk to. What is this? Are you going to like bus stations or like?
So here's the thing. I've been really fortunate, and I've had an opportunity to own a few airplanes and be able to go in 360 directions at will. And you know something? It's pretty badass, because when you can just decide where and when you want to go and not have to check in with anybody, it's kind of nice.
It's freedom.
Today, I mean, the rest of us are sort of...
How does the FAA feel about that?
Well, the FAA feels like, look, I mean, just don't crash.
Huh?
At the end of the day, don't kill people. But
I feel like that's a good general rule.
I mean, if there's one standard that you want, don't kill anyone. What I mean to say is that, for like the last 100 years, I mean, we've, human race has been like dreaming about this concept of flight. And the reality is not until recently have we had the electronic propulsion, the energetics, lightweight materials, the automation that really make personal air mobility accessible and available, because you don't require an inordinate amount of skill to operate the machine, because the machine does the most of the work. I mean, we're talking a lot about autonomous cars. The fact of the matter is that's really hard to automate cars.
Well, but I guess isn't that almost the downside and scary part about this? Like, dude, people can barely effing drive.
Yeah, no, we don't want
it's snowing outside now, and the running meme that we post every year is I'm not sure if it's snowing or if it's like an invasion of little tiny like parasites that eat the part of your brain that remembers how to drive. Because I mean, it's like if it's that easy, and it's like, hey, I still blame AOL for making it really, really easy for people to get on the internet.
Welcome. You got viruses.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, is that a drawback to this if it's that easy?
Well, look, there's going to be phases of evolution, right? When we first, when the car was introduced, I mean, it freaked out horses, and you had to dismantle your car so a horse could drive by. For a long time, people wouldn't get on elevators because, you needed an elevator pilot. Well, guess what? We got over that. And this very much is a sort of a total reinvention of aviation that's happening. Employment of distributed electric propulsion, hybrid electric propulsion, being able to recharge batteries. Because the batteries, it's actually kind of a bunch of BS. It's a lot of smoke and mirrors. The battery density doesn't exist yet to make electric aviation truly viable. So we are, we say on our website that we're totally electric, but the batteries honestly don't exist yet.
Right.
They're like 7 years away. But from being commercially viable.
Because they're still stupid heavy, right? Like I think of the
yeah.
batteries in the
So
Tesla.
we have 210 kilowatt hours required
Wow.
for a 65-mile trip with about 1,000 pounds.
Which the biggest batteries right now commercially in the Teslas are 100 watts, right? And I think
100 kilowatt hours, yeah. So we'd have 2x the amount, and our consumption rate, because they're only good for about 80% of the battery. So the problem with batteries is A, not only are they heavy, but B, they're consumable. So after 80%, you achieve an 80% state of charge, you have to recycle the battery. So our business model isn't to sell aircraft, but actually to move people, move cargo on demand under a ride sharing program, because at the end of the day, it's like, who wants to own an aircraft? It's stupid. It's like the 4 Fs. I don't know if you know them, but if it flies, if it floats, blah, 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 you lease it. Okay?
I don't know what the other 2 Fs are.
Okay, lease it. So, but we ended up learning, we found out that, we're going to consume like a gigawatt worth of batteries annually at like, $80,000 a pack.
Woof.
We're like, this doesn't make sense. So we are now doing hybrid electric. We have a 500 horsepower turbine generator. It's got, 2 twin little generators generating energy, recharging our, 75 kilowatt hour battery pack. And now we're able to take off and land electrically and then recharge in flight. So we're part helicopter, part airplane.
So is it going to be like a network of helipads that you have to
helipads, airports? What the aircraft that we build is called a VSTOL. So it's very short takeoff or vertical takeoff and landing. So it's a tilt wing. The aircraft,
so kind of like the Harriers.
So very similar. That's a tilt rotor.
Right.
So we basically have a wing surface. It's basically an airplane where the wing turns vertically 90 degrees. It's got 4 propulsors and a 75 kilowatt hour battery pack, a turbine generator. We can move 5 passengers between the cities, airports, and suburbs as far as 260 miles away.
Which is
almost Chicago.
Yeah.
Chicago's 300.
But I mean, here to Lansing, and what's the
We
speed?
can add more fuel and go further, but if we want a full load at 1,000 pounds,
Right.
I mean, we can certainly get to Chicago at like half load.
What's the speed?
I mean, that's like you and me and Mark.
So 200 miles.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So 200 miles an hour.
Wow.
And the great part is it's like ridiculous. I mean, who really likes the airports here?
I actually do. I spend a lot of times in airports and actually kind of enjoy them.
Do you?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
What do you
actually.
like about them?
He's the one.
I'm the one.
No, when I'm traveling alone,
You're so
I don't-
skeptical.
I walk through my clear lane through TSA pre-check and right at the Delta Club.
Oh,
It's
you're one
great.
of those
I'm
guys.
one of those. Yeah.
no, when I
So
travel
you're
alone,
like the upper like wealthy class.
Delta Diamond. I've been
Delta
I
Diamond.
travel a lot. Yeah, exactly.
So you're like in the Sky Club.
Yes, exactly. But my
You're one of
girlfriend hates
those.
airports. My grandparents hate airports. Pretty much everybody I know who travels 3 or 4 times a year
So
hates airports.
So 99% of the mass traveling public.
Way to go, Nuri. You're the 1%.
Oh, finally! All my life I've been waiting for this moment.
But think about it. The country has 15,000 airports, but 99%, that's 760 million traveling public passengers, travel through 50 hub and spoke airports. I mean, so what we have essentially is a nation of dark nodes for you nerds out there in the IT industry. Imagine doing what the internet did for people business if we could do that with aviation. What we have here is ultimately a gap in air mobility. We have all these airports, but not the right aircraft to connect them. So imagine being able to connect cities, airports, and suburbs with vertical takeoff, hybrid electric aircraft. I mean,
Well, yeah, because I mean, like I've done the all right, take a big old jet into wherever, and then you got to hop on a puddle jumper. That in some cases I've sworn I've seen the guy outside winding up the propeller before we took off.
Or he was the one who was loading your bags onto the
Right.
plane. Right.
How old are you, man? I mean,
No,
and
I'm
you saw
like-
with the bar an hour previous. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an American airline pilot.
but I mean, seriously, we have 15,000 airports and the mass traveling public uses 50. That's insane.
That's crazy.
So it's like, how do we solve this problem? So we have all this congestion on the roads. People hate sitting in traffic.
Yup.
hate sitting in traffic. I don't know a lot of people that love going to the big airport to park in the big lot to go through and get felt up through security.
It's a 2.5. To go to, if it's my flight's at 5, I got to leave the house at 2:30. It's a 2.5 hours before the flight. So if I'm flying
like Chicago, it's a 45-minute flight.
Yeah,
it takes longer to get there, deal with security.
Right.
That's why I'm like, we're doing something in Chicago. I'm driving.
Also, the TSA is sometimes the only action I see in a week. So
I know your life. You're lying.
Dang, bro. So
here's the thing. Like this is going to be like, okay, I'm in Auburn Hills and I want to go to the airport. This thing will take me. There's some hub in Auburn Hills. Or is this like
skyports, airports, heliports, parking lots, parking structures?
Or this is like, hey, I want to go hit the town in Detroit. I want to show up in a helicopter. I want to party like Dennis Hoff tonight.
So there'll be.
Like, you want to party like it's weekend at Dennis?
Yeah, exactly.
So this is very much like the amount of innovation that's happening in air mobility right now is intense, because if you think about it in terms of like, there are a number of different cars, trucks, pickup trucks, delivery trucks. They're all designed to do a certain job. Mm-hmm. So what we'll end up seeing is a variety of different aircraft systems that'll have short haul inner city missions where you'll be able to go from Royal Oak to downtown Detroit or to the airport or to Ann Arbor, to middle range, long, like regional type flights where we can do both missions, intra-city, inner city. And it's really very exciting because there's just all this new energy in, on-demand aviation. I mean, and the primary driver is the fact that urban centers around the world are just jam-packed with people and cars. Nobody can move. I mean, it is a huge problem.
Oh, we've talked about it. I mean, the commute to get downtown has tripled
easily
in the last 2-3 years.
In the morning, it's Charles works at Blue Cross. His commute from Troy is about an hour. So he literally.
Did your inner Canadian just?
I don't know where that came from. I don't know where that came from. Yeah, I hung out with my cousin. That's probably why.
There you go.
But it takes him about an hour, and literally he leaves at 5:30 in the morning just so he can not go through the garbage.
Yeah.
Now, will these things fly similar to the way airlines do, using waypoints, intersections, and DME fixes, or are they going to basically be more point to point?
Yeah, that's a really great question. So, unmanned air traffic management is a big deal, right? As we have more and more things in the air that are moving to and from point to point, you have to have some method of managing traffic.
Right.
And air traffic control, as it's currently employed, radar-based, sort of large, area, control agencies won't do the job because it's just the density of traffic is too high. Mm-hmm. So what we'll end up seeing is one of the things that we've introduced is this concept of utilizing vehicle-to-vehicle communication networks. So 802.11p protocol, DSRC is a connected vehicle protocol, basically for vehicle-to-vehicle, vehicle-to-infrastructure communication. And essentially it's a spectrum in the 5.8, 5.9 gigahertz spectrum where there's sort of 7 channels, whereby we'll have 2 channels dedicated for safety messaging. Oh shit, here's an intersection. You guys are going to crash. To command and control, data, video, rules of the road, if you will. There has to be sort of the yellow line in the middle of the road and the stop sign. There's rules of the road, and that'll all be digital, and it's using connected vehicle communications infrastructure.
Whoa. So similar to how autonomous vehicles will eventually talk and be able to negotiate the same things.
And we will be flying over ground-based rights of way, essentially roadways, because nobody wants these things flying over their house.
Yes. I mean, and that's honestly, that's what I'm trying to think through is, so, I mean, it's got to be even that much more complicated because, okay, cars are cars. Autonomous vehicles have to deal with roadways.
Yeah.
Dude, aircraft, it's 3D.
Yeah.
It's not just what's in front of you, what's next to you. Yeah. It's what's on top of you, what's below you, man, that's insane.
Yeah. So the only reasonable, solution to sort of managing dense urban air and ground traffic is by using a mesh network, right? So you have a mesh network where all the sort of, clients are able to shake hands. They become authenticated on the network. We know who's who, where they're going.
Maybe using some blockchain technology in there.
Don't ever say that.
Do you see the sticker on my laptop?
Say blockchain one more time.
If he could have, he would have just flipped this table.
So I wanted to talk about blockchain, but then I saw your sticker, and I'm like, I better not.
So a city the size of Detroit, what's capacity like? How many of these suckers can you get in the air at one given time?
Well, look, I mean, the ground-based infrastructure, 802.11p DSRC is designed to handle literally hundreds and hundreds of thousands of, actors within the network. It's designed for high density, high speed traffic. So if you think about the problem of urban mobility, what's happening is we're getting more and more towards this gridlock scenario where people, food, healthcare are having a difficult time moving around. There's just no more real estate. We're not making any more roads, right? So what you end up having is all this capacity available above the roads, and you're using the same mesh network to sort of connect cars to connect literally, I hate this word, flying cars. Because there's nothing worse than a flying car. It's stupid. Okay,
You've been promising me those.
It doesn't
since I
make
was
any
like zero.
Right.
It doesn't make any sense.
George.
Yeah.
So yeah, frankly, we expect to see, my prediction by 2040 is that 50% of the ground vehicle miles traveled will be replaced by air travel.
And I mean, I'm just looking, again, I'm trying to go through
50%.
That's nuts. So am I gonna open up? Am I gonna open up my app and then it's gonna I'm gonna summon one of these things? Then I gotta go meet it wherever it's sitting.
You'll essentially hail it like an Uber. An Uber or a Lyft will take you to a vertiport, and at that, it's kind of like a bus stop.
Actually, in the future, it will know when you need it before you do.
Because the
it's AI
system,
right?
And then when you get there, it'll just kill you.
Right.
You didn't need to go there anyway.
Or it'll hand me a PBR and a bag of Funyuns. Right. We know.
Yeah, so it's we've been doing the math on this for a number of years. I have to admit it's like it's exciting now that I'm not alone anymore.
Well, yeah, and it seems like it's becoming more and more feasible. Like, this isn't science fiction. This is practical.
Well, what's it going to cost me to go downtown from, let's say, Rochester Hills? There's a port, or by the Palace of Auburn Hills.
So
now when I go downtown,
so you're looking at a couple, $2-3 a mile.
That's it?
Yeah.
No way.
Wow.
Well, the whole business model is based upon
it's like $20 to go downtown.
High utilization rate
per person, right?
High utilization per seat mile.
Per seat, yeah.
Per seat mile.
And when will I be able to hail one of these?
So
Tomorrow, please.
Demonstration flights begin in 2020. We were fortunate enough to be part of Uber's Elevate Summits. They've invited us for the last 2 years to display our demonstrator aircraft, and the plan is 2020.
So these planes,
To
whatever,
demo.
what
So
do they call
2023, 24, we'll see sort of pilot cities employing this.
What do we call them? I wanted to call it a plane car. Like
So
flying car.
I think air taxi is probably the kind of like the non-goofy sort of way to say it. Because like
the
flying
hover car
is like so
a pluber. It's a plane.
A fluber.
A fluber,
not a fluber.
Or a plift.
So I'm toying with
you need a pill for that.
with setting up our own ride sharing app called Swing. Right. So
I think that might already exist, but for a
I was going to say. Gotta be careful about that.
I think there's a wife sharing app. Is what.
I just want my title to be The Big Swinger.
Well, if you need a couple of slightly portly radio personalities to demo this in 2020, you know where to find us.
I feel that's a live remote waiting to happen.
I don't know. It's like the first person to eat an egg. I don't know if I want to be the first person to fly on one of these things.
Well, we'll test it out. You don't have to be the first.
Yeah.
We'll send some dummies up there first.
Perfect.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Are you sure about that, Wade?
How honest do we have to be here?
No, really.
There's AI and blockchain and the thing. We'll figure it out.
So how do we keep in track, or how do we follow the progression? How do we keep tabs? Yeah.
So our website asx.us and
ASX.us.
yes. And Facebook, or I'm sorry, well, we're mostly on Twitter. I mean, we've been doing a lot of social media until we actually want to say something.
Right.
But Airspace XP is our Twitter handle. And we'll, in coming weeks, we've got a really, really exciting first flight that we'll be broadcasting. And yeah, so
we're
many
gonna want
years.
to know about that.
Yeah, so we've been working a lot of years on this damn software.
I would imagine so, yeah.
It's like the hardware is like not even, it's stupid. We just need software.
Right.
It's all about the software.
Very cool.
But I think if you want it easier, I think DetroitAircraft.com I got you on. So I think
You can, that'll forward you to
Yeah.
our site. So yeah, you can go to DetroitAircraft.com. That works too.
That's awesome.
John, you got a seat here anytime you want to come and update us on what's going on.
Yeah,
We're
for
definitely-
sure.
We definitely want to follow.
Yeah, this is cool shit.
Yeah, I almost can't fathom it, but I can. It sounds.
It's happening. It's not even like, it's not a joke. It's coming.
Yeah.
The question is can we compete with the big boys?
Right.
The big boys.
Right.
They were all born here. Like Boeing was born
Oh, yeah.
here. Like
Lear's here, right?
Lear was he was from here, and then you've got Lindbergh. So we actually started working with his grandson recently, and
Oh, no good.
yeah,
That's kind of cool.
yeah, and so we have this big sort of like hoopla event coming up where we'll like it's happening here in Detroit, the very first transition flight.
I think you should do that with a podcast.
Have this voice, see? Yeah. Coming to you live from Detroit, see? Yeah.
These are sick. I'm on your website, and these planes are sick.
Yeah, it looks like. Is that real? Like,
Dude,
I'm
this
like,
is way too cool.
John, appreciate spending
It's
time
so
with us.
fun. You guys are great.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I
for
said, you
having
got to anytime you want to come back, please.
I will be back.
Keep in touch with us. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to be back. Caston Thomas, Rob Goss from Tempered Networks. This is the IT and the D Show,
and we'll be right back.
Good times.
IT and the D. Read, meet, listen. Networking Detroit. One beer at a time.
Hi, I'm Brittany Daniel from The Game, and you're listening to IT and the D Show.
ITinthed.com.
Hey, then look at me again. Welcome back, segment 3, episode 273. This is the IT and the D Show, broadcasting live here in Studio 1 in Podcast Detroit in beautiful Royal Oak, Michigan. Bob the Sales Guy, Dave the Geek, Nary the FNG, Randy, I do the Twitters. Find us online, itinthed.com, where you know what to do. Hit the Meet tab, find out where we're at. That's MEET, not MEAT. And then, we'll see you at one of our events, and we'll go from there.
Yeah.
The right hire can make a huge impact on your business. I think about, as a people manager myself, all the times where I've had people come in and just have completely changed the face of my department.
Absolutely.
Or when you have a new initiative going, or you're trying to do something like maybe a move to cloud or something, having the right people's really important.
Kind of critical. Yeah.
Finding the right person can be hard, though. Instead of just posting on a job board, which most people don't check, post your job to a place where people go every day to make connections, grow their career, and discover job opportunities. LinkedIn. Most LinkedIn members haven't recently visited the top job boards, but 9 out of 10 members are open to new opportunities.
Even if they're not actively looking, they'll listen.
We're always looking.
Yeah. yeah. There's active and passive looking.
70% of the U.S. workforce is on LinkedIn, so it's the best way to get your job opportunity in front of people who are qualified for your role and are ready for something new. It's the best way to find the right person who will help you grow your business. That's why a new hire is made every 10 seconds using LinkedIn.
That's crazy.
Hurry to linkedin.com/ITandTheD and get $50 off your first job post. That's linkedin.com/ITandTheD to get $50 off your first job post. LinkedIn.com/ITandTheD. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm signing up right now.
No, honestly, God, I think LinkedIn's like the only place to go now for job board.
I think every good job I've ever received, or even calls out of the blue, have been through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing, like there's a few out there, but that's
I'm not going to use their names, but they're terrible.
Yeah.
Right.
We may or may not have written blogs about why the other ones suck.
Speaking of those, someone that doesn't suck, we got Caston Thomas in the house.
One of our favorite guests of all time. Our internet security advisor.
Oh, stop it.
I feel like he's just bucking for the Steve Martin SNL jacket club is what I think he's waiting for.
There's an IT and the D jacket.
We're all wearing one. You're the only one not wearing wearing a black jacket right now. Come
Hey,
on.
but look what's on the back. of my
there you go.
iPad. There you
Podcast
go.
Detroit sticker on the back.
See, I'm
Yeah.
repping. I'm repping.
But you brought friends. We got Rob Goss in the house, Tempered Networks.
Hey, Rob.
Yeah.
Rob, how we doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Never been better. Caston, you called me up and said, I got to get on the damn show like right now.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, all right, I'll send you an invite. I'll see you next week.
Well, this is different. I'm usually talking about cool stuff, and the last time I was on was back middle of August, episode 260, and we did a deep dive. Well, we did a deep dive in a shallow pool in 20 minutes.
We talked about zero trust networking.
We did.
Yeah.
And what's different is we're not here to talk about cool stuff. We're talking about giving away cool stuff.
Nice.
And that's
Even
why
better.
Rob's
Love
here.
that.
So, just to refresh what we did on episode 260, zero trust is an evolution of information security to where we need to go. And just to give you a little history, about 2010, Google set out on a 7-year project, as it turned out,
on a 3-hour tour.
Yeah. No, they set out on this re-engineering of their entire infrastructure. And the way the internet started getting built was kind of like Sesame Street, come and play. Everything's
We've talked about it. It was designed, by academics for openness and sharing.
It wasn't connected to anything. And then all of a sudden we're faced with this world of, we just connected to the rest of the world. Anybody can get here. We need a firewall. We need VLANs. We need VPNs. We need this. We need that.
Wait, we're gonna be processing payments? What?
Yeah.
I remember one of my first jobs. They were very early in e-commerce. We kept all of our credit card numbers in a DMZ SQL server. This is way before PCI, things like that. I'm like, wait, hold on. You keep all those back here? Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the bottom line, information security is all these silos, all this complexity that we're trying to make all these moving parts work together. And all the bad guys have to do is find one way in.
Yep.
So what Google said was, let's set up a security architecture that is singular. We went from Sesame Street to that wild fight scene in Star Wars where everything's bouncing off of everywhere. That's where
the
we are
Matrix,
now.
where Neo's dodging bullets.
Yeah.
Right.
So the idea of zero trust is the X-Files. Trust no one. Okay. So the concept now is if I can simplify my security architecture down to one thing where everybody's treated the same way, whether they're coming in from inside the protected network, whether they're coming in from mobile, from Starbucks, from home via VPN, everything is treated exactly the same way. Now, it took Google 7 years to get there. If someone did a full-fledged commitment, it would take 2 or 3 years to move there. And Google even started their own company, which is kind of like it's licensing like Android. And it's a company called BeyondCorp. So if you go to BeyondCorp, CORP.com, that's a subsidiary of Alphabet that Google spun off in order to popularize their zero trust platform network. Okay. So now that is treating the zero trust from the application level. There's a lot of other companies that are, we talked about blockchain. Don't mention blockchain. 2018 was the year of machine learning. Anybody who had an if then else line of code in their software said, we're machine learning. We're deep learning.
Right.
So my prediction is 2019 is going to be the year when we get sick and tired of hearing about zero trust. Everybody's going to be throwing it around. Half the people using that. In fact, 90% of the people use the term won't know what they're talking about. It's just going to be another buzzword.
It was a headline in CIO magazine.
Yeah. Yep. This is the year of zero trust. So the issue is, are companies overall willing to make that full-fledged jump to zero trust?
Well, do you trust Google to begin with?
Well, that's a different story. But there's no doubt that they've been incredibly successful, that any employee anywhere in the world can get access to the information that they need in order to do their job.
Yeah. Okay. Can I talk about it? I don't know if I can talk about it, but when I worked there, this is years ago too, I had no VPN client on my machine.
Right. And Google even came out and said that in 2 years, 60% of enterprises will have moved from VPN to software-defined perimeter. Now, software-defined perimeter to me, and this is my definition, is a subset of zero trust. Because
how so?
Well, the idea of that software-defined perimeter, I define it as something that's built around the host identity protocol. Okay, and we talked about that in 260. Go listen to it. RFC 7401. IETF, the guys who give us DNS and really are the brains behind the standards of the internet, gave us the host identity protocol, HIP. Okay, so the HIP protocol says that I can't talk to my destination. I can't even ping it unless I've already authenticated and gotten the credentials and the other end knows that I have permissions to talk to them. So in a sense, we're cloaking every device in this HIP network from the world. So you can't even see it. It's a great way of protecting medical devices, industrial controls, sensors,
everything.
And the smart grid. Yeah, everything.
Yeah.
But the other companies that are doing it that I'm seeing haven't fully embraced that HIP protocol. Okay. They're sitting out there and they're going, we're going to add a zero trust layer 4 appliance that provides zero trust to your network. It's really not doing what BeyondCorp does. And it's not really doing much more than doing VPN on steroids.
Okay.
So when we looked at this market and looked at the 25 companies that we found back in the spring who were legitimately doing some form of zero trust, there was one that stood out to us. And that's why Rob's sitting here, because Tempered Networks has a very rapid way to jump into zero trust. But it's by securing the network and securing the network devices from an identity standpoint so that you can only have a trust in the SDP architecture in the framework of the standard in a way that secures the network. And quite literally, you can turn this on in hours. It doesn't take a 2-year commitment. You can turn off your VPN and implement Tempered Networks, replace the VPN, and have a fully trusted network where all the devices are fully cloaked from outside access.
Okay, that sounds far too easy. Skeptical Dave is skeptical.
I've been doing all the talking. Let me give Rob a little airtime here.
Absolutely. So the solution that we are actually commercializing was originally developed for Boeing. If you think about a company that talk about espionage, things like that,
right,
that would probably want to be one of the top ones you want to go after. So basically what this gives us the ability to do, like Caston was saying, the ability to use or create that host identity protocol or those physical cryptographic identities that are embedded on all those devices to determine who could actually see who on the wire. And like he was saying, one of the cool things about host identity protocol, it's at the protocol level. Yep. It's not at the application level. So we are dictating everything right from the get-go before a device is going to respond to a request.
And that's an X509 certificate? Is that?
No, you don't need certificates with this.
So what's thumbprinting your machine then?
So that's an interesting thing. So if it's a piece of hardware, we're actually hard coding something. If it's something on a client, we actually pull a dossier off that box to determine what that identity is going to be. And yes, there is a certificate that we are embedding for the authentication on that individual device. Now, here's the thing, is that with host identity protocol, you have to have there's what's called a HIT or a host identity tag that's actually applied. So every device has a host identity tag associated with it. Devices on their own cannot create policy to establish a connection from themselves to somebody else. So there's got to be a third party that actually does this. And we call
orchestrator.
We call that the conductor. And basically what happens then is that these two devices, if I'm trying to communicate to you, for instance, I have to know what your host identity tag is. And in that first request, you'll actually present both yours as well as my host identity tag with it. And once we validate that that is a computer that we trust, then we're actually going to respond, including the puzzle to create the AES-256 communication exchange.
So if I don't have either of those things, like if I only have half the equation, I can't talk at all. I can't ping. I have no knowledge that device is there.
Yep, absolutely correct. So it's interesting that that came up. So we had a customer of ours that was doing a pilot with us. And they had a pen test done by a very large, reputable company. And we got a phone call Casson and I got a phone call from the CISO, an hour into the pen test. And basically we were trying to figure out what was going on. And that company,
well, hang on. They gave them all the information about the devices, the device names. They had already pen tested the devices.
Here's our entire IP address space.
That's
Go
right.
after it.
No, here are the specific devices you need to
We're
attack.
giving you the address. We're giving you what you want to hit.
We're giving you the machine names. We're giving you everything.
And they called to say, "Are you sure the machine is up? Because we can't see it." And we're like, "Huh? I wonder."
Did we pass?
I think we might have passed.
Well, so I guess my first question is like, what does this mean from a provisioning standpoint? Like, so you bring a new employee online, or hey, I lost my laptop out in the field. My car got stolen, whatever. Like, what does this mean for that process from a day-to-day IT standpoint?
So that's really the big thing. As we all know, being in the IT world, those manual, you were talking about automation, things like that. That manual process is going away. So automation is key. Orchestration is key. That's why, software development kits and APIs are such a huge thing, because how do you get things to work together?
So is it replacing IM as well? Or is it working in conjunction with IM, and like what Dave was talking about?
It could actually probably replace it.
Okay, wow.
So here's the thing, though. With this orchestration, the cool thing about it is, remember what I said, is that I can't create a policy on my own. So that orchestration engine, or what we call the conductor, the cool thing about it is it's a single pane of glass. When this solution was originally created for Boeing way back when, they wanted an OT guy to manage an IT security environment.
Right.
That's like saying I can fly an airplane, which I really can't, right? So
right.
That's the point. So they're going to know specific things like who needs to communicate to what. They're not going to know, route. They're not going to know routes. They're not going to know ACLs. They're not going to know any of that stuff. But they're going to know that a specific device needs to communicate to another device. So that's pretty much the amount of information that you need from an orchestration engine standpoint to say. So if I can say I need to communicate just to Caston and that's it, I can create a policy that between he and I, we've created that encrypted tunnel, and allowing us to communicate and establish any type of application between that tunnel that we want by default. So when we were talking about being at an application level, it gives us the ability to actually do that.
Okay, so that's creating things on your end. I'm Johnny Help Desk, and Bob is the new sales guy at the company. He's going to need access to Salesforce, yada, yada. Like, I mean, are we still going through that similar kind of provisioning?
All this will already integrate into Active Directory, LDAP. All of that can be automated.
And that's what I was trying to get to. Okay.
There's integration with multi-factor authentication. I mean, it's really well thought out product.
And again, that's the thing, is we don't necessarily want to reinvent the wheel. We want to give you a tool to make your life much more simpler and much more secure. Because at the end of the day, as we were all saying, we traverse, we move around, things like this. And because of the IP address being the identity, that root flaw that Vince Cerf and his team never finished when it was stolen way back when, because this supersedes that, or now gives us the ability to create an identity that is always going to be on that device, I now become a portable workforce. I now become a mobile workforce, being able to move wherever I want. My identity is always maintained, not based on the network that I physically am on, which is huge, because now, like Caston was saying, I can take a device, I can take my laptop that might be here in the studio today, I move it out to my house tomorrow, into my workforce. It doesn't matter where that is. The identity is always the same. Now, one of the other things that are very important within our tool is that we realize that because of this methodology of moving around, it was very important for us to develop a feature that allows us to establish those communications without opening up a whole ton of holes and firewalls and everything to communicate with.
And that was going to be my follow-up, is because, I mean, like, part of the reason for VPN is you want to assure secure communication.
Correct. So what we did is we actually created a product that's called the HIP Relay. So in any type of internet-based communication, because of proxies and things like that, you have to have one public IP address, right? So that's the issue. What happens if you have two netted environments? Where's your public IP address?
Right.
So what we've done is we've created a product called the HIP Relay that basically is a public IP address that's sitting out there on the wire, either in a DMZ, in a cloud-based solution, wherever it wants to be. And what happens is that based on the technology that we created, it gives us the ability to it tries to establish a communication directly. And if it can't, it will reach out to the HIP relay based on policy to allow those guys to communicate. So here's the secret sauce. The way that this is created, it establishes an outbound initiated call from itself to the relay and establishes a keep alive.
Okay.
So now we have a bidirectional communication channel.
Yep.
On an outbound initiation through that firewall. The other device will try and do the exact same thing if it can't communicate. So if, for instance, I'm trying to talk to Caston and we're both on cell networks. So cell networks don't allow inbound by default.
Right.
So basically he can establish an outbound connection directly to the relay. What happens is that the relay acts like a bridge.
Yep.
And establishes or binds the two communication channels together without breaking the encryption. So now I have a bidirectional communication channel and my firewall has got a null inbound policy. It tightens up your security posture dramatically.
Well, get this, and this is why I thought Rob should come today and why Rob got permission to do a pre-press release to IT and the D. Okay.
You heard it here first, folks.
So here's what I imagine happened. Bunch of guys are sitting around at Tempered Networks boardroom in Seattle going, gee, we've got a great story to tell. How can we get this in the hands of hundreds of thousands of network and security professionals? Some guy goes, I know, I got a great idea. Let's give it away.
The first hit's free, kid.
There you go.
So what we did is, one of the things that a lot of organizations are trying to get out is, they want people to use their stuff to see if it actually works or that,
right.
We've all been in a space that, we've been sold snake oil and now we're trying to figure out how to mitigate it.
Oh yeah.
So what we did is we created an environment that we call HipNet. Gotta love HIP, right? What is HIP? I can't believe we're not playing Tower of Power horns.
My grandfather broke his twice.
So basically what this is, or what HipNet gives us the ability to do, and this was one of the big things that our founder, Jeff Husey, wanted to do. So Jeff Husey, if you don't know who he is, he also founded a company called F5 Networks as well. So he's pretty established in the IT world, especially within Seattle. So one of the things that he wanted to do is he realized that this technology, like Caston was saying, there's a lot of things that you could be using it for. So what we decided to do, or what he decided to do, was to, on a client-based solution, so literally we support any type of client out there as well, mobile or physical clients, so you name it.
Even if it doesn't run TCP IP?
Well, no, it's got to run TCP IP.
Oh, no, we can tunnel into the physical device.
Oh, okay, you're right. It could be serial if you really want
okay.
to. So if you wanted to, but that would take a piece of hardware though, dude. So,
that's where you're making your money.
So with HipNet, what it gives us the ability to do is, based on that orchestration process that we've already developed internal, HipNet, we have given out 10 free licenses that anybody can actually sign up for right under Tempered Networks for a free trial.
Okay.
And what it gives you the ability to do is establish connections between 10 devices using clients, all through orchestration. So the orchestration creates a world or a network of what you want. And with these invitations that you're creating out, it automatically creates all their certificate exchanges and the rest of that. And it's just drag and drop on, yes, I want to communicate to my wife's phone today. So a point-to-point communication between them. Now, the neat thing about this, and one of the cool things that we added to it was,
but there's more.
But wait, there's more.
And this could be an annoyance depending on who you are or not, but way back when, everybody loved the Nextel chirp, right? So we've actually added push to talk to the mobile clients that we have out there. But instead of adding a server to the mix, it's point-to-point encrypted communication. So you can do point-to-point communications using AES 256 between you and your wife, and nobody and their brother would be able to see it.
And you're on a watch list.
Yeah, that's right.
You know the NSA is one of our advertisers, right?
Well, hello.
No, very cool.
Just Google me.
Very cool.
But the neat thing is that we've, being IT guys, how many of us have gotten phone calls from our wives, our significant others, our parents saying, I'm having a problem with my computer.
Right.
Well, this gives us the ability to actually establish that communication directly through point to point in seconds, not days, not minutes, not hours, seconds between two devices, either in a point to point or a full mesh environment, depending on however you want them to be.
I thought about that. Very
cool.
It's,
hey, Mom, whether you're on your iPad, Mac, Windows, click on the link I just sent you in the email, self-installs the client, self-configures it, you're up and running.
So basically I could, instead of having to build a home VPN for my Plex server, I could do something with this basically, right?
Yeah. And the interface is so easy to use. You just go, you know what? You need to get access, see my screen. I'm going to set up a private share. You're going to be able to load and look, send them the email. Once it's done, take them off.
Or I could have a web dev server inside my house and be deving from the coffee shop and testing at home.
Bingo.
And the other thing too, and the other thing too about this, so one of the cool things about host identity protocol is it decouples that relationship between the transport and the identity of the individual device from an IP address standpoint. So those IP addresses are whatever we want them to be internally. So you can have your own private 2.3.4.x network out of all your clients. So even if somebody got into a device, what the heck are they going to be able to do with it, right? So that's the neat thing about this. So it's all pingable. So now I can take a phone, for instance, with a null inbound ACL coming from AT&T or Verizon, whatever it is, and now I have a point-to-point communication channel that I can do shares and all the rest of the stuff between these devices. And again, how much is it going to cost to do that, Caston?
For 10 devices?
Yeah.
Absolutely nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
Oh, I'm a break this.
So where do we go again to sign up?
There's a couple ways. You can go to thetemperednetworks.com and click on the link. We've also set up a site called myhipnet.com. And this isn't quite rolled out yet if you're listening live, but by this time it gets out, everything will be up and running. If you go to myhipnet.com, it'll redirect you to the most current site, or we'll let you fill out a form and we'll let you know when it's ready.
Yeah, we've already been running it. Caston's already been running it and all the rest of the stuff. There's a couple things that are going to happen. If you're actually listening live right now, we're updating our website, within any time today. So that site's actually going to change. So there'll be a button that says free trial up at the top. And that free trial, you just put in your information and you'll be able to, it'll send you an invite for your world, to give you the ability to actually invite other devices or people based on the emails to whoever you want to actually see it. Okay. But again, the cool thing about it, it's called HipNet, is what we're doing. And it's really based on, our buddy Bob Moskowitz here in Oak Park on what he created way back when. So Bob, thank you very much for creating a really cool technology and protocol.
That's yeah, I'm a break this.
Play with it.
Or at least I'm going to try.
I'm signing up now. I just click submit and it's gone.
Yep.
So,
myhipnet.com is the easiest way to get the most up-to-date information.
Yeah, we're
but
actually going to
temperednetworks.com works too.
Yeah. Tempered Networks is where it's going to push you back to, but, absolutely go that route. And then, set up your worlds. We'd love to see it. Because at the end of the day, this is going to be a tool. A lot of people are worried about, what's going on the internet and so forth. And this gives you a tool to maintain that security and that isolation.
And this platform, it's 10 for the free, but the scalability of this is already demonstrated.
When you want to go to 11,
we want to
break out the checkbook.
We want to go to tens of thousands and,
and
probably.
That's one of the cool things too, is that, we were talking before the show about software as a service and subscriptions and things like that. The point is that it's something that's usable. So we're talking dollars per month and not hundreds and hundreds of dollars to do it. So from that standpoint, it makes it really simple and economical if you're looking at an environment that's larger than that. And then with the ability to email people out and auto activate, it makes it pretty simple from a deployment.
Universities, just think about that. Like, I want all my students to access my stuff inside my university, but everything else be closed.
Yeah.
Like,
funny you should mention that.
Is there a big one?
But
Right
we can't talk about
it.
All right.
Well, dude, it's like one of the features we love about the Eros. Yeah, I'll shoot you a text message with an access code. It goes away in 24 hours. Yeah, go.
Yeah.
That's dude. yeah, I'm a play.
And the neat thing is it's all based on that cryptographic identity that cannot be moved and it cannot be spoofed. So like what Cassim was talking about, the software-defined perimeter.
Yep.
That's exactly it. You have an identity. There's no ability for somebody to actually pick that up and move it to another device and allow them to mimic you. So that's a huge difference compared to traditional TCP/IP, right? Which is
it is a part of the TCP/IP stack
it is.
now.
It's a ratified protocol. Bob really did a good job on getting all that done. And again, like Cass was, it's RFC 7401.
Dude, that's awesome.
Well, where do we find you again?
You can find us at temperednetworks.com. So,
yep. Find me on LinkedIn or C. Thomas at iworkstech.com. Or at the meetup this week.
Or at the meetup this week. Or at the Christmas party on the 6th. Hopefully.
There you go.
All right. Hey, we're going to wrap things up for this episode.
It's been a really good episode.
This is a really good episode. Like, I know your eyes were glazing over at several points. Like, from a tech, dude, this is like nerd vana.
No, I followed him for about 65%. And then I was like,
X509. You're like, oh.
Yeah.
That did it.
But hey, we're going to wrap things up for this episode 273 here, the IT and the D Show. I'd like to thank John Riminelli from Detroit Aircraft Caston and Rob Goss from Tempered Networks. Also like to thank Ops Genie, Star Talk Podcast, DigitalOcean, and LinkedIn. Thank you for keeping the lights on behalf of Bob, Dave, Nuri, and Randy. Do us all a favor. Drink up your drinks. Get your phone numbers. You don't got to go home. You just got to get the hell out of here. See you next week. Drive careful. Beat it.
The emergency destruct system is now activated.
Conan, what is best in life? To crush your enemies, see them driven before you, and to hear the lamentation of their women.
Long live Flash! You've saved your Earth. Have a nice day.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Nice shooting, son. What's your name?
Murphy. Make the run. The run.
Game over, man. It's game over.
It's over, Johnny. It's over.
Nothing is over. Nothing. You just don't turn it off.
I can't say no, and I don't really want to, so.
Well, especially with the back doors open.
Yo! Hold up! Time out! Time out! Y'all take a chill. You need to cool that shit out. And that's the double truth. Rude.
Bob loves it in the can.
I hope this was as much fun for you as it was for me.
That's why I like it in the can.
Joe, own the truth.
Fear me.
My job is to make sure this program is morally upright and cultural and wholesome.
Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy! Shut up, Mimsy!
Why would Buick put their cars next to the Bentleys? Why? That's not marketing.
The alphabet.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, I can't take that position.
That analogy sucks because it's right. Because you're getting your 8-track tuned up. Are we at a break yet? Yeah, so now I'm just doing stupid stuff to make me laugh.
Venture capital is not the end game.
When are we going to talk about me?
Jane, you ignorant slut.
It's my show. I can say what I want.
Kiss my ass, go home, unplug, get off the goddamn internet. You are everything that is wrong with the internet right now.
You're so white right now.
I'm the whitest guy in the room. Just explain it to me.
I love this city. I was banging on the wang.
Really? Should we talk about this? Tag team it. Should I keep going or should I stop?
Can I just say, it's been great being on a show that talks about Mickey Rooney dying for 20 seconds and then poop for 10 minutes.